So first up is Nowhere Boy, and this is probably my favourite ever film, and nobody has heard of it really, which is so sad because, as I said, it is one of my favourite films. I love it so much. It's based on John Lennon and his upbringing, so all about the Beatles, set in Liverpool. Acting in it is so good. It has some quite big people in it, including Aaron Johnson, who plays John Lennon, and he is really makes you cry at the start, it makes you laugh. It's just such like raw acting, and it's filmed really well. Very much recommend it to everybody. It's on Amazon Prime. Next up is The Fugitive, which is a film you might have heard of but maybe not watched, but it's one of my favourite films actually. It's on Netflix. Harrison Ford is the main person, and he gets accused of killing his wife, which he didn't, but he still gets sent to prison. But on his way from being transferred or whatever, the bus falls and all the prisoners escape. And he is a doctor, so he's, you know, he's clever, and he manages to escape from the police, and the whole story is about him being a fugitive and them trying to find him. And so many twists and turns. Harrison Ford is amazing acting in it. I would highly recommend. It's a very good film and a bit of a classic, so you have to go and watch it if you haven't already. A very good film with Tom Hanks in it is called The Terminal on Netflix. It's all about Tom Hanks comes in from a country that's having some kind of war, and he doesn't have the right visa to get into New York, so he ends up being stuck in this airport because he can't return to his country and he can't stay in New York, so he's stuck in this airport for months and months. It's based on a true story as well. He meets all these people, and it's just a really funny, like, light-hearted film, and it's such a nice watch. So another TV series that I thoroughly enjoyed, I've watched it 3 times actually, it's on Netflix and BBC iPlayer, is Three Girls. Very kind of hard-hitting drama based in an area in Manchester, I think. It's based on a true story as well. These 3 girls kind of get hooked into being raped by these Asian men, and it follows their story, dealing with the police and the court case. Yeah, really sad piece of drama, but very well filmed and very good acting. A very good movie on Amazon Prime is called The Pretty One, based on these 2 twins, and they both have very kind of different lives, and they are in a car accident. One of them dies and the other one decides to take over her life instead of keep living her own. So loads of like twists with, you know, what happens, because she doesn't know her sister's life that well, and the people who she meets who are in her sister's life, she's telling them different things to what her sister did. So yeah, just like a really clever storyline and really good acting in it as well. I feel Top Gear is one of those series that everybody has watched, but it's just like, it's so underappreciated. The Top Gear specials are one of my favourite things to watch. I love Jeremy James and Richard, like, I just think they're such a funny trio. I think the old classic Top Gears, which are all on Netflix, especially the specials, are so funny, and I feel they just get forgotten. But go and watch the Top Gear specials because they're just like some of the greatest TV out there. If you want a sad film, very emotional, Miss You Already is a film on Netflix. I think you should have watched this film, but it's such a nice one to rewatch. All about 2 best friends, one of them gets cancer, and it kind of follows their journey dealing with it, and it's really sad but really nice. Good acting, and definitely should watch it again. Let's talk about Magic Mike. I'm hoping everybody's watched this film. I'm pretty sure you will have. If you haven't, it is on Amazon Prime. Pretty iconic film, you know, a bit sexy with dancing, which is fun. Obviously it's got Channing Tatum in it, who plays the main character Mike, and this new guy called Adam comes into the scene, and then he becomes a stripper, but his sister's not very happy with that, and he lives with her. So she has a go at Mike, and then there's, you know, a bit of romance, and it kind of all goes from there. But it's a very, very good film. Great acting, a nice easy watch, and, you know, bit of action in there as well. One of my favourite movies, which not that many people have heard of, even though it's on Netflix, is called Don John. It's such a well filmed and executed movie, but the storyline is about this guy who's he's just obsessed with like sex, and he's just a bit of a player. One day he meets this girl who's played by Scarlett Johansson. Such good acting in this film. And she kind of like blows him away a bit, and they have quite a lot of arguments and yeah, twists, turns, but just the way it's filmed, it's such a good movie, and the acting from everyone in it is so like wholesome and like genuine, and it's just such a nice movie to watch. I, Tonya is a film I actually watched the other day. It's on Netflix. Margot Robbie is the main character, Tonya. If you don't know the story, it's based on the true story of Tonya, who was a figure skater in America in the 1980s, I want to say. Yeah, all about her childhood, her upbringing. She had a very like abusive relationship with her mum and her partner, who she stayed with on and off for years and years. There was a big incident where she got accused of smashing a knee open of another figure skater to try and win the Olympics. Yeah, based on the true story, very cleverly filmed, not your kind of typical movie, but I definitely recommend. The acting is amazing and a really just nice, quite action-packed storyline as well. If you want a film to make you cry, 5 Feet Apart on Netflix is a very sad film about these two people in hospital, and with their illness or disease they are not allowed to get any closer than 5 feet apart, but they fall in love, and obviously they want to break the boundaries, and they're a bit naughty, but it's very, very sad, but a great film on Netflix. Quite a lot of Netflix original films that I enjoyed, such like easy watches, but one of my favourite kind of chick flicky like romance one is Falling in Love. It's all about this woman who lives in America. She goes through a breakup, she just wants a new scene, so she wins this competition to get an in New Zealand, so she flies over. There's a lot of work to do. She meets this guy, she falls in love, she like becomes a part of the community, and it's just really like such like a chick flicky cheesy film, but actually quite enjoyable and a little bit different to like, you know, the other Netflix originals that are out there. Man Up is a film over on Amazon Prime. It's all about this woman who's on a train, and she meets this other woman who's going on a blind date, and she offers to give her this book, and she ends up going on this blind date, and this man is with her, obviously not knowing it's the wrong person, but they realise that they love each other and they fall in love, and it's just a very nice, funny, very funny film, and a nice, just easy one to watch. A film I've come across recently on Netflix is Circle. Very kind of interesting concept. There's 50 people in this room, so every 2 minutes someone dies, and they kind of at the start are working out what's actually happening, and then eventually they realise that they have to pick who dies. Loads of kind of like twists and turns with the storyline, and eventually one person comes out, but it's all about deciding who kills who dies and who gets through to the end. But yeah, a really interesting film. 21 is one of my family's favourite movies actually, over on Netflix. All about this guy, all based in America, who's trying to get into a top-end college, and he doesn't have enough money to pay for it, so he's either trying to raise money or try and get a scholarship. He ends up falling into this group where they're going into casinos and kind of counting cards and winning loads of money illegally. Ends up getting into a bit of trouble, but it's a really clever, good film that I definitely recommend watching. If you're into documentaries, my favourite series is on BBC iPlayer and Stacey Dooley's Investigates. She covers loads of different topics, kind of like feminism stuff, being exploited for sex. She travels all over the world, follows like suicide bombers, wars. There's so many different things in the series, but such interesting TV and really well filmed, and I really like Stacey Dooley, so definitely my favourite documentary series out there. Megan has a recommendation. Go.
Wedding Crashers. It's really good. It's about these two blokes that go to weddings and sleep with people. And then he finds the love of his life, and they go back to this house, and it all goes wrong. You've got to watch it. It's really good.
What's it on Netflix?
It's on Netflix.
Worst connection ever. Silence of the Lambs is a bit of an iconic film. It's on Netflix. I actually only watched it a few months ago, but it's definitely a film I'd watch again. It's a bit creepy, bit you know, intense. If you don't know what it's about, it's this police detective. She's kind of new to the whole scene, and she goes and interviews this, basically a psychopath, and he ends up getting moved prisons and he kind of takes over. I don't want to ruin it because it's such a good, iconic film. And if you haven't watched it, you definitely need to go and check it out. Good Will Hunting is a bit of a classic. I think you can go find it on Amazon Prime. It's all about this guy who has a bit of a unfortunate childhood, but he turns out to be a genius, which kind of gets discovered through him being a cleaner at a school. He works out this maths solution, and you just see his kind of like life scaling up. Matt Damon is the main character. Great acting, great film, and yeah, a bit of a classic. Another great crime series on BBC iPlayer, and I think it's on Netflix, is Line of Duty. It follows AC12, which is like force within the police, looking at corrupt officers, and like such a crimey, like action-packed drama with fantastic acting, and definitely you should go watch all the series. It's quite a long watch, but definitely worth it. The Kings of the Summer. This is film maybe you haven't heard of. It's on Amazon Prime. It's a great watch. It's all about these three boys who are, it's based in America, so I think they're in maybe high school. It all kicks off with their dads and they just want to live away. So what they decide to do is build a house in the woods, and they become completely self-sufficient of this wood that they've built, these three friends. There's a girl involved, so there's a bit of romance in it as well, which is really nice, and it's just a really lovely film and quite an easy watch. It's not too hard to understand, but it's just a really kind of cool film and makes you want to be able to build a den in a wood. I would definitely recommend. The Theory of Everything is a film I only watched last week on Netflix, but definitely going to watch again in the future. Based on Stephen Hawking's, it follows his upbringing and his just life in general. It's quite a sad film. Obviously his life does definitely have ups and downs. The acting in it is phenomenal. Eddie Redmayne plays a great role and his acting's just so believable in it. Sad but funny storyline all at the same time. And if you haven't watched it, honestly go over to Netflix and give it a watch with your family. Okay, I'm gonna throw in a childhood classic. Tracy Beaker Returns and The Dumping Ground is all on BBC iPlayer. They've released every single episode of the story of Tracy Beaker as well, actually. Tracy Beaker Returns and The Dumping Ground. I honestly don't know what my childhood would be without Tracy Beaker. I've just watched all of Tracy Beaker Returns series 1 to 3 in the last few days. Yeah, it's just a childhood classic, and it's actually genuinely a good TV show. It's not even that bad. Like, I'm happily watching it and I'm 18 years old and I thoroughly enjoyed reliving my childhood. I feel most people will have watched The Impossible, but if you haven't, very iconic movie about a family who are in Thailand, I think it is. Big tsunami hits, and it pulls the family apart, and it's all about their kind of journey in getting back together. Really nice, heartwarming film, amazing acting, and definitely one to watch again, or if you haven't watched it for some reason, go and check it out on Netflix. He's Just Not That Into You is another great film on Netflix. You might have watched it. It has kind of a similar concept to Love Actually. Loads of different people's stories, but they all intertwine together. All about romance and relationships, and it's a really nice, heartwarming, funny, enjoyable kind of rom-com film, and definitely one of the best rom-com films out there. A bit of a classic. If you haven't watched Killing Eve, go and watch it. It's on BBC iPlayer. Series 3 is just about to come out, which I'm very excited for. Season 2 did let me down slightly, but season 1 is a fantastic series. Honestly, go and watch it if you haven't. Jodie Comer, who plays the main character, she's like a spy kind of thing, and she travels the world, and another detective is trying to find her because she murders people. You know the storyline, but it's fantastic TV. Waterloo Road. Where do I start? I've watched all of it once and I'm kind of re-watching it because it is all on BBC iPlayer. Just go and watch it. It's a long series. It takes up a lot of time to watch, but but it's very gripping. You get very kind of engaged in the storylines and attached to the characters, and it's just a very famous and great TV series if you haven't already watched it. A Netflix original TV series that I really enjoyed is Afterlife. Ricky Gervais is the main character in it. His wife dies of cancer and it's all about him kind of like trying to get through life. He's very depressed, and Ricky Gervais obviously plays a great character as that. But it's so funny. I don't think I've laughed as much at a TV series in a long time. I've watched it 3 times I think now, and series 2 is coming out this year I think. So Heartbreak Holiday is a little TV series on BBC iPlayer. I kind of just found it on a whim and I watched it and I really enjoyed kind of young single people going on holiday. I think they travelled Greece in the series. It's very cleverly filmed, like quite a kind of quirky documentary but reality TV style, and over the course of the holiday they kind of like all get to know each other in a very kind of like depth way, and their exes come in, all their friends come in, and there's romance between them all, there's drama, there's gossip, just kind of it all happens, but it's actually a really good reality TV show and not like a typical reality TV show. As I said, it's like a bit quirky, but I would definitely recommend, and it is over on BBC iPlayer. Bratz is one of the best chick flicks movies, I think. Not as good as Mean Girls, but Bratz is on Netflix now. I think it came on quite recently and I've already watched it twice. 4 girls who start high school. They kind of get broken up through the different cliques in high school. It's a very American film if you haven't watched it, but definitely one of my favourite chick flick movies. BBC kind of series which you need to watch if you haven't is Luther. Obviously Idris Elba is the main character, and how can you not want to watch Idris Elba? It follows him, he's a leading detective, loads of different crimes, like a new one in every episode, which is nice, but there is same like running storylines throughout it. Very cleverly filmed, very good acting, and a fantastic crime series again. Escape Plan is on Netflix and Amazon Prime, I think. It's all about this main character whose job it is to go into prisons and escape. So he gets paid to test how good the security is in prisons. And this one guy comes along and he says that his prison is literally unbreakable. So it's his job to get in there and try and break out, but it kind of has twists and turns in the story. It's a really good action movie, really nicely filmed, and I would recommend. I will be disappointed if not everyone here has already watched Gavin and Stacey. It's my favourite TV series ever. On BBC iPlayer, it's on Netflix as well, I think. All 3 series and Christmas specials. But yeah, if you haven't watched Gavin and Stacey, what are you doing? But if you have, you just need to watch it again because the full series is accessible to you. If you have not watched Dirty Dancing, or you're not aware that it's on Amazon Prime, just go and watch it again. It has to be up there with one of the best films of all time. Such a nice storyline, and I'm just letting you know that it is on Amazon Prime. And I'm pretty sure you can stream it on YouTube as well, which is a bit naughty. One TV series if you haven't watched, you're missing out, is definitely Peaky Blinders. Cillian Murphy is like my all-time biggest crush. I'm slightly obsessed. 1920s gang based in Birmingham, follows real stories but just very well executed series from BBC. I think you can find it on BBC iPlayer and it's on Netflix. All 5 series I think there is now. The Bling Ring is on Amazon Prime. It's based in America and there's this group of teenagers. This new boy comes in, joins their little clique, and they're a bit naughty. They go around stealing things from celebrities' houses. So they Google their address and they go around and they burgle their house. It's got Emma Watson in it actually, which you really wouldn't expect. It's seeing her in a completely different light. It kind of unfolds into the police finding them, and so it's a bit of an action movie, but it's also just chick flicky kind of action romancy movie, and I definitely recommend. And Sex in the City is my final recommendation. There's the TV series which I think you can get it on Sky. Also the movies on Netflix and Amazon Prime. Just such like easy watch, feel good films. I love their like kind of little group and their clique. I think it's very funny and I just really enjoy watching. And there we go, that wraps up my TV series and film recommendations. I have to say there's a few that do stand out, even though all of them are so good, definitely worth watching. But I have to say that Don John and Nowhere Boy are probably up there with the two that I would say that you do need to watch. You've heard what the storylines are and it's up to you to now go and binge watch all of them in lockdown. So I hope you have a good time viewing. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe down below, and I'll see you all for a new video very soon. Goodbye.